All right, good morning, afternoon, time zone changes.
Good afternoon.
We're still a little jet lagged. I hope you all can hear me okay. I'm not used to using a hand mic. Today, we were listening to all the panelists speak earlier, and one of the biggest things that was resonating was how do we get to the holistic child? So, our presentation comes at a better time. So, what is NeuroAligned? It is the sacred science of teaching. Teaching is a transmission of energy, not just data. As we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about where is the place of the teacher. The teacher is a sacred processor of energy. All of our kids that come into our classroom all have a different frequency. The job of the teacher is to match that frequency and bring them into alignment. So, the last 8 years, let me give you a little background. Puzzlebox Academy is one of the largest neurodivergent schools in the United States. We range from 2-year-olds all the way up to 23-year-olds with all type of alphabet soup. ASD, ODD, OCD, AHD, ADD, you name it, we've dealt with it. But over the last 8 years, we have been poached by private equity and venture capitalists. We have a Chapter 13 folder that we keep to the side that is to remind us, oh, was today a rough day? And then we look at that folder and we're like, it's not that bad. The reason we made NeuroAligned is because all of these private equity and venture capitalists wanted to franchise Puzzlebox. But we're not dealing in puppies. And we're not dealing in widgets. We are dealing with humans. So in order to make sure that Puzzlebox Academy's mission and values were not depleted, we decided, how can we take Puzzlebox Academy to the world? And we built 2 programs, the NeuroAligned Educator and the Aspire program. So our job is to help teachers understand that burnout is a media function. We do not have a shortage of teachers. We do not have a shortage of people that want to educate and enhance our children. We have not done the right by them by supporting those teachers and educators and caregivers. We have not given them the tools in order to handle our children of today. In our campuses, we have neurodivergent children. Now we have neurotypical administrators coming to us asking us, what are you all doing? How are you seeing 2 years of growth and 10 months with your neurodivergent students? We have neurotypical students and we can't do that. Our neurodivergent students cannot be programmed. So where everyone is now in the world of artificial intelligence and how do we teach, we've been doing this for the last 12 years. Our little guys and gals are not robots. They will not work to a system that has trained robots. They are looking for individuality, and that's what we're here to help the world with. So my partner in crime, Dr. Manny.
So my journey that brought me here to you all today started 20 years ago in the corporate arena, doing behavioral science in big corporations for Fortune 500, primarily in the manufacturing side. And one of the things that ties my work back then to the work that I get to do now at Puzzlebox Academy is this idea of burnout. Whether it's an executive, a frontline employee, or a teacher in the classroom, burnout is a real symptom, isn't it? It's something that is tangible, it's observable. And so for me, starting in the world of behavioral science, and I've come to my own self-discovery of the work that we're about to present to you, of things that are really a scientific way to really manage your own ability to function, to respond to different stimuli, to respond to different stressors in a meaningful way. And so for me, my story comes from a journey of science to my own self-discovery and now a passion to teach this. So I want you to imagine, what if we could teach without losing ourselves? And we're talking about teachers, but when we use the word teachers, by the way, whether you are an executive, whether you are a manager, a supervisor, a teacher in the classroom, a therapist in the clinic, or a parent, we're all teachers. We're all teaching a student, whether it's a child or an adult. But imagine if we could teach without losing ourselves. And one of the things that we have come to really understand, and let's just read this together, is that teachers love their work, but their biology is breaking down, especially when stress is present. And that breakdown for a teacher could be from the moment they walk in the door to the moment they leave the classroom and go home. So it's got to be different, right? So for us, we asked this simple question: what if we could rewire the nervous system to sustain joy and purpose in what we do every day? And there's an epidemic, there's data, there's good research studies that are coming out in the world of education and science that talk about this epidemic, this educator epidemic. This is one statistic, and it's a hair-raising one, that research shows that 67% of teachers report chronic stress. Burnout is a biological, not a personal weakness. It's a biological outcome. And one of the things that we look to focus on, that this research focuses on, is chronic stress and how it reshapes our emotional circuitry. It reshapes how we actually respond to stressors. Now, there's a sense of understanding that these stressors, the way that we respond to stress, is really a cry for help. But rather than just any help, we talk about it in terms of coherence. And what is coherence? Well, the true definition of coherence has a language situation, right? We want to speak coherently, right? But physiologically, coherence is about the brain and the heart and the body and our emotions all going in the same path. That's coherence. Now, what we've learned in the science of coherence is that there is a deregulation in our cortisol levels. There's a 40% drop in alpha wave activity during stress, and that burnout is a complete energy system collapse. From our brain to our heart to our emotions, it all goes the wrong direction. And how many of you, just show of hands, how many of you have ever felt chronic stress? Stress never goes away. It's just ongoing. Okay, lots of hands showing. Well, one of the things we know about chronic stress is that chronic stress just keeps the body in this survival mode. And what happens when we are in survival mode? We lack creativity, we lack compassion, and we have a lesser way to have higher order reasoning.
So Manny, let's stop right there. So back in the day of cavemen, we all ran from the dinosaur. All of us did. We would run and then we'd get into the field, we'd find the berries, and we would all relax. Today, none of us are relaxing. The autonomic nervous system is not going back into a baseline status. So we are staying constantly stressed. The human body is not being able to regulate back into its normal baseline. So if adults are doing that, do you not see it in your children already? I have kindergartners that are neurodivergent that are coming in already concerned about what they're going to do for their long-term career. Parents that are already pushing our children for A's and B's in first and second grade instead of being children. When we talked with the panelists earlier and they were talking about social emotional growth, all of our schools are no longer chronologically graded together. Our students are homogeneously grouped. That means that they're grouped based on their social and emotional age rather than their chronological age. The reason that we've had to do this is because there's not one child that grows and identifies in the exact same pattern of behavior or stressors than the next. So at Puzzle Box Academy, all of our children's curriculum is individualized. So we're already doing that. We have 111 students and 111 programs for each one of those students. Our kindergartners are changing classes. Again, let me explain that to you all. Our neurodivergent children in kindergarten are changing classes. They're also data tracking all of their material so that we can take and teach to frequency rather than to memorization. So when we talk about how do we change our teaching methodologies in a world of artificial intelligence, we start by looking at the teacher. We start by going back to our honing skills on what is the educator? For those of you on a spiritual path, that used to be Sunday school. Otherwise, you would learn the family business. You would go to Sunday school to learn reading, writing, and arithmetic. But we've taken that out of the value system. Now we have students coming into school memorizing. Teachers are in a panic because we have AI now. We have technology that memorization evens the playing field. So then what is the role of the teacher? It is a spiritual role.
So let's talk about coherence from the nervous system perspective, and then we're going to tie it all together. So the nervous system stops distinguishing between threat and responsibility. And so what happens is that this causes the educator's body to operate as if every school day is an emergency. Now, we can easily take out the word educator in school, and we can talk about it in terms of CEO in the workplace, right? Manager and the facility that they work in. And what's going on is that if we can't operate our nervous system correctly, if we're not in coherence, then every day becomes a day of an emergency. So true recovery begins when the brain waves, the breath, and the heart rhythm return to that state of coherence. It's what we call the biology of safety. Now, one of the things that I love that we're doing at Puzzlebox Academy is we're changing the way that we even talk about things. We don't say what's wrong. It's moving from what's wrong to what's out of alignment, what's not in sync with each other. And this is a language of healing that begins with awareness of where the misalignment lies. So let's just talk about neuroalignment. Just very basics, right? Because we only have so much time. So neuroscience explains how we change. The brain's neural pathways reorganize through repetition, focused attention, and elevated emotion. And what behavioral science teaches us, it's that repetition, focused attention, and elevated emotion that leads to a new learning history of reinforcement. It's what helps us build strong habits. Now, neuroplasticity, neuroplasticity, this allows educators, and again, remember, not just teachers in a classroom, but if you're a manager, supervisor, this applies to you. It allows you to rewire your stress responses to be resilient and have resilient
Hold on, Manny, let's
pathways.
try this. So I would like everyone in here to repeat something with me. Nerve cells that fire together, wire together. Nerve cells that fire together, wire together. What Manny is talking about with neuroplasticity is if we are constantly conditioning our children or our teachers, constantly letting them know, oh, did you get test scores? Are they up to grade? How's the students in there? Well, I see that these are things that we do as administrators, and that's all broken system that no longer works with our today's student. What we need to be doing is encouraging, inspiring not only the student, but the teachers that you have underneath your watch. Richard Branson said with Virgin Airlines is that if I take care of my employees will take care of my customers. As educators, our customer is every child and every parent that comes in and out of our classroom. And that's whether you are in the school building, brick and mortar, or if you are out in public. There was a day when teachers didn't get married. Do we all remember that, or is this generation gone? The reason is because they were constantly teachers, not just for 8 hours. Educators are educators 24/7. There's always the possibility of a learning moment. And when we stop looking at a 9-to-5 job as educators, we will start to change the world. The 4 pillars of NeuroAligned, and I'm going to go a little faster because I'm a very structured-based person and we're going to try to stay on schedule. So the 4 pillars of NeuroAligned is number 1, neuroscience of renewal. We use neuroscience and biology to understand how the human brain works. And doing that, we know that if we continue, why do you think mantras work? Words of affirmation. They work because you are repeating them over and over. What did we just say? Brain cells, nerve cells that fire together, wire together. We are rebuilding the circuitry in the brain. The next piece is energy, mastery, and breath work. Not mindfulness, meditation. My kindergartners, my early intervention kids that aren't even in kindergarten yet, some of them that have no vocal expression. We have seen a 60% de-escalation and outline behavior by using meditation. Not mindfulness, meditation. And again, I want to let you all know, my 2- and 3-year-olds are already meditating. It is very possible. Again, our demographic is neurodivergent students. So imagine what you could be doing with your neurotypical students. Number 3, the sacred practice of teaching. Every single one of my teachers are my family. Yep, I'm going against the curb. We are teachers 24/7. I know their family members, I know their children, I know everything that goes on about them. And I have 30,000 square feet of campuses all up and down the east coast of Florida. I know them like that because they take care of my children. And yes, every puzzle box student I look at as my child. Because if something happens to them, it is going to be their parents calling Miss Pam, what happened to this child? What's going on? So we have to look at teaching not as a 9-to-5 job, but as a sacred transmission of energy. And number 4, integration and reflection. This is journaling. This is getting our kids to go ahead and understand they are the creators of their future. When we stop teaching out of textbooks and we let them know that hands-on practical knowledge, not memorization, is what we need, then AI becomes their tool and not their teacher. So I'm going to do this fast for you all, just again to stay on time. Neuroscience of renewal. Shape is all by stress. We can reshape our brain. We can reshape the way that we look out this door, not just in the classroom. All of this is done simply by neuroscience. Neuroplasticity is the biological freedom. What does that mean? I am not in the routine. How many people here get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and don't even think about it? I do. Yeah. I get up 2 o'clock in the morning, it's like this. My eyes aren't even halfway open. I go right back to bed. Sorry, Education 2.0. I told you I didn't like this microphone thing. But we do it in automatic. How many times are we driving down the road and the next thing we know, we've already missed our exit, or we've come up to the exit, or you're on the train. For us in DC, you'd be on the metro, and all of a sudden, next stop, Farragut North, you're already there. Why? Because you've allowed the subconscious to take over. We have forgotten that we are in control of not only our mind, but also our body. When we can rewire the emotional loops, we build resilience. So if I am constantly building this child or this teacher up, when a stressor comes to them, you will not see the immediate breakdown. You won't see the tantrum. You'll see the pause. And the pause is what we are looking for. The pause is what all of us here can identify with. And that pause is when we realign and we live in the present moment. This process restores the automatic balance and increases, my big word, heart rate variability. I'm not sure how many of you all work out, but that's one of the biggest indicators nowadays. My Whoop tracks it, iWatch tracks it, the Quora Ring tracks it. What is your HRV? Well, that heart rate variability is a way to understand how do you chemically, biologically process stress. How do you think some of our neurodivergent kids process stress? The same way their moms and dads do. How do you think our neurotypical children are processing stress? It's learned behavior. So we have to set the example. We have to give our teachers the tools so that they can self-regulate. I'm going to skip through some slides for me. Can you get me to the heart math, what I'm going to teach? So again, we're going to speed through because I want you all to leave here today with a tool. I want you to go out of this presentation with something that can change immediately. In our schools, we do a practice of heart math. Basically, heart math is 32 years of study and training of the heart brain. Yes, there's actual brain tissue that's within the heart. Do you know what that also does? That keeps track of all your trauma. And it sends signals to the frontal lobe in the brain, and it tells the brain, oh my goodness, don't do that. Trauma's coming. Oh my goodness, I got a quiz coming. Oh, I'm going to start stressing. How many people thinking about a presentation like this start sweating before you even stand on stage? How many of you all, before you have to go in for your review with your supervisor, automatically get the sweats and you're automatically thinking, oh, the worst case scenario? Our children are doing that. Our teachers are doing that. Are my kids going to meet the standards? Are my scores going to be enough to keep me here next year? We have become so efficient at data, we stop looking at the child. We need to find balance between them both. So I'm going to walk you all through what we do in our mornings. We do it before every single one of our associate meetings, before our board meetings, and we do this thing called our Wednesday Soulful Sessions. Why? Because again, teaching is a sacred science. I would like all of you all to take 1 second, especially after lunch, and think about something that brings a smile to your face. It could be a chocolate-covered truffle. It could be a puppy. It could be your child. For me, it's 2 things. My son, who's my North Star, 20-year-old, I was told when he was 6, start looking at special schools. He's neurodivergent. Well, he's 20 years old now, and he's a student teacher, and he has his associate's degree in psychology. I didn't listen to what they said about him. I let him take his own path. So he makes me smile. Puppies make me smile. And lavender ice cream really makes me smile. So what is it that makes you all smile? Think for just 1 second. What brings you joy? If it takes you longer than a second to think about what brings you happiness or joy, then come talk to me at the booth. We've got a lot of work to do. For 1 moment, even if it's me, I'm jumping back. Think about something that makes you all smile. What I want you to do is hold that memory, hold that smile. We're going to go through 3 deep breaths right now. And what I want you to do is when you breathe in, I want you to think of that thought, that happy thought. And when you breathe out, I want you to focus on that breath going out through your heart, not just your nose. Can we do that together? Yeah. Can we? Yeah. Oh, I really like this guy here. He's got energy like me. All right, so I'm going to guide you through it. We're going to do a 3-second inhalation through the nose. It's going to go. Think of that happy spot. And then blow it out right through your heart. Take another breath. Breathe in. Think of that wonderful puppy. And then breathe out. And now 1 more time, take a deep breath in and think of something that brings you joy. And now take a deep breath out. That 1 second of coherence between your heart and your brain is all you need to do to get your students aligned. That's it. Every morning, start with something so small. Dr. Manny's a little ambiguous here, but he wrote this amazing book called Quick Wins. And one of the things in Quick Wins is that we don't go for the 5-mile race. We first got to go 100 yards, right? And it's the same thing. We want something that makes your student feel successful immediately. Your teachers feel successful immediately. And you can do this in your classrooms, you can do this with your students, and you can do this with your teachers. Start your meetings, start your day. Why? Because you are the mom, dad, and the spiritual advisor for most of the students coming into your classrooms. They don't have that at home anymore. Though we may be 20 years advanced with artificial intelligence, augmented reality, the things that you want to call these words, these catchphrases, we are back into both family members working 40 to 50 hours, and the kids, they've got the iPad and the TV again. So you've got to take a moment to pause. And that moment to pause is how you pull your students back in and rearrange the way that you think of education. Please remember, you are the ministers for the next generation, not just educators anymore. You are the guidance system for our students. And if you make each one of them individuals, you won't have to worry about artificial intelligence. because they'll use it as a tool. Our neurodivergent students that we've seen, I can let you all know that as of August of last year, 2024, I've helped over 1,800 families with neurodivergent family members. And all of them, the first 3 to 6 months, I've helped the families get out of crisis because they've been told there's something wrong with their kid. With all of those children, there was not anything wrong with any one of them. They all just learn a little differently. They have a higher vibration, a higher frequency, and we've got to raise our vibration to meet theirs. And if we can do it with neurodivergent children that already are fighting physical and mental and emotional stressors, imagine what you can do with your neurotypical families. So, Manny.
All right, so that brings us to the end of our 30-minute presentation. So we wanted to make sure that you understand we appreciate you, we appreciate your time. If you would like this material or you would like to learn more about the work that we're doing in our classrooms and in our business, our booth is right outside the door, Puzzle Box Academy. So please come and stop by, and we'd appreciate you just spending a few minutes with us and learning more. So thank you very much.